This video will contain spoilers. Beginning review. Wait, sorry, no. End review. DMC. The game's pretty good. I love the whole dystopian thing and kind of like they live. Something that I didn't like about it was when you're playing the Leo, or not, why the fuck I say Leo? Virgil's Downfall DLC. They give them the same moveset as Dante, but they just tweak it a little bit so that it makes sense for Virgil. And one of the things that they did was that his heavy attack, which you use to destroy shields, they made it like a fucking ground pound, even though it's a triangle attack and ground pounds are usually circle. And it's just, it fucks you over so many times because the whole of the DLC takes place in hell or something like hell. I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of confusing. But there's not a lot of space. Like, you're on floating islands, and there's a lot of flying enemies who have shields, and you have to grapple onto them, hit your heavy aerial shield damage attack, which is the grapple is L2 and square, and then the heavy attack is R2 and triangle. But then you just end up going flying and falling off the edge and taking damage, and it's absolute bullshit. There were a couple of times playing the DLC where I will defeat the last enemy by doing that, and I'll fall to my death. But because I'm falling to my death in the middle of a cutscene, it fucks up and I don't respawn, I just keep on falling. Luckily, resetting checkpoint worked every time. Like, it was a soft lock, it wasn't a hard lock. And resetting checkpoint, like, there is no loading screen whatsoever. It's instantaneous, kind of like Spider-Man 2. Hell, it's faster than Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Man 2 had a cutscene. This doesn't. You just spawn, and that's it. I'm impressed. This is a game from 2013. Yeah, it's a remake, but still. Like, hats off. I'm a bit disappointed by the fact that the second last mission, the fight against Mundus, I quite enjoyed it, even if it's just the Lilith fight on a bigger scale. Like, it was badass. I heard someone who is a big fan of the original game say that, oh, look at the designs for all of these bosses from the first 4 games, minus DMC2. And then look at this thing, and it has like it looks like it has a vagina on its forehead, which, to be fair, it does look like that. But I still think the Mundus looks badass. And I liked the fight. It was a nice fight. It was a good fight. But then, the last night, I knew that it wasn't the last mission because some people might consider this spoilers, but I don't. Whenever I'm playing a game, I like to know when the ending is. Or if I'm reading a book, I like to know how many pages there are in a book or how many chapters or something. And I like to know how many missions there are in the game. So I looked it up and I knew it was 20. So I knew that mission 19 wasn't the last. I thought it was just going to be that it would end just as the fight is about to start, and then mission 20 is the fight. But no, you do the fight in mission 19. And I thought, well, what? Kind of like with the Galactus fight in Fantastic Four. I kept on feeling like he's gonna come back somehow. Like, they zoomed in on Dante's spit, and I thought maybe the spit's gonna like revive him or something. You'll have to fight him again. But it didn't happen, and then you fight Virgil, which I had a feeling that Virgil was a bad guy, but I wasn't too sure because I don't play DMC. But yeah, they go from that great fight to the Virgil fight, which it's not a bad fight, but it's just going from one massive thing to one tiny thing. It wasn't a nice feeling. So the TLDR of the game is really enjoyable. I think the people that don't like it, excuse me hitting a can, um, like the fans of the originals and all that, I get why you don't like it, but I'm not a fan of the original, no offense, so I like this. Moving on. Beginning review. Mafia, the Old Country. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Mafia games. I played it free when it came out on PS Plus years ago, and I thought, it's okay. And then I played the remake of Mafia 1, and I thought, yeah, it's pretty good. I don't like the fact how they made this massive, beautiful open world map that I'm going to assume accurately recreates the 1930s, wherever the first game takes place. I can't remember. Lost Heaven, I think it's called, which I'm pretty sure it's a fictional city, but an accurate rendition of what the 1930s looked like in America. You don't get the fucking free roam in the game, at least not technically. The way that Mafia 1 worked, and this was the remake of Mafia 1, wasn't even the fucking original. Like, I would have understood if this was just the original because it's a game from, I think, 2001. But even the remake did this, which came out in the 2020s. The game has two modes, story mode and free roam mode. So, when you play free story mode, you just play the story. You can't explore. And it's bullshit. Like, you've built this fucking amazing, world, and you don't let us explore it. And then the free roam, all you can really do is pick up collectibles. That's it. And then Mafia 2, I'll be honest, I couldn't get into. I have a couple of mates who they own the Mafia remake. They couldn't get into Mafia 2 either. Um, so I'm not the biggest fan of Mafia. I think pretty good story, but it's just the gameplay is lacking. For some reason, I was very excited for this to come out. And I've played the prologue and the first three chapters, and even though the action part of it is only just started, like the first two chapters in the prologue, there's action, but it's different. You know what it's like at the start of a game. But I'm really enjoying it. I heard that I haven't confirmed this yet, but I heard that the game does the same thing that Mafia 1 does, where you have the story mode and the free roam mode, and it's just, why? The game looks fucking amazing. Like, you've rebuilt 1904 Sicily. This is a place where people retire to. This isn't just some urban shithole. Like, this looks amazing, and you don't let us explore it, apart from the free roam, which I can only assume that all you can do in the free roam is pick up collectibles. Like, I don't think there's any side missions or anything, or saying like GTA or Yakuza where you've got like mini games like bowling and shit. It's a waste, and it's a shame. Hopefully I'm wrong. Also, something I don't get is there's shops in the game, and it's just, how do they work if you can't access them unless it's like they make up a story excuse for you to go to that shop like once every chapter or something like that. So you can't go back to that shop other than one time you're there in chapter 2. So I just don't understand. Anyway, moving on. The Naked Gun 25. Universally positive ratings. Directed by Kiefer Schaefer. Produced by Seth MacFarlane. I watched it in cinema with my dad and Binman. Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Cody Rhodes, Paul Walter Hauser, Leslie Nielsen. Um, you see a photo of him. I need to. You see a photo of him because this being a parody of cop films, something they did that I love is that there is a wall that has the pictures of each member of the original police squad. You got Leslie Nielsen, you've got the original Norberg, O.J. Simpson, things like that. And it's just their children are coming up and crying to them like, "Oh hi dad, am I doing good?" Blah blah blah. Oh, I love that. That's great, and especially with that joke about O.J. Simpson, that took balls. Like, especially like it used to be that everyone would joke about O.J. Simpson. Like there was that thing from SNL that I'm not the biggest fan of SNL, but I love this where it was a skit where it's OJ's he's doing commentary on a football match or a rugby match, whatever you want to call it, and he's like saying some strategies that the teams could have used, and he's pointing on the screen like a bird's eye view of the field, and the shit that he like points at, he accidentally spells "I did it," and I think that's great. But recently, like after OJ died, people were glazing him and talking about how great it was that he got away with it. Like CNN actually said that. So in 2025, to make fun of OJ Simpson took balls. Um, there was only one joke about it in the film, which I heard that Akiva Schaffer thought he only wanted to do one joke because he didn't think that people would have enjoyed more. He didn't think he thought, right, let's just acknowledge it and then move on. Because people aren't just not gonna find the joke funny. People loved it during test screenings and all. Um, so it's like, oh fuck, we should have wrote more. I think it's fine just to do that one joke and then move on. Um, Speaking of moving on, I love the way that the plot device is literally called the plot device with plot standing for something. Although the plot device is basically just the device from the first Kingsman movie where you turn it on and everyone turns angry. I think it's fine because this is a comedy movie. Like it's not supposed to be. You don't watch it for the plot. You watch it for the comedy. So it's acceptable. But speaking of stealing jokes, there was a scene in the film where I've just realized I didn't go through the rest of the cast. Liza Koshy, isn't she a YouTuber? Stop casting YouTubers in films. Kevin Durand, CCH Pounder, Weird Al Yankovic. There we go. I'll be honest, I thought the bad guy was played by Ray Wise. He kind of looked like Ray Wise to me. But what I was saying earlier was there's a scene where Kevin Durand's character is spying on Frank and Pamela Anderson. Um, and he's using a thermal scope or binoculars to look, and because he's using thermal, the things that they're doing in Frank's kitchen look sexual, and it's exactly the same as a scene from one of the Austin Powers movies. So the fact that it was really funny, but it's just the fact that it's been done before. Um, Can't think of what else to say. Oh, Dave Bautista also makes an appearance in the film. So does Priscilla Presley. To be honest, I didn't know it was her. Somehow my dad noticed it was her, but like, if she is who I think she is, then how the fuck did anyone recognize her? Because what happens at the end of the film is they go on vacation and they do the same thing that the original show did, where the credits will roll and they do like a freeze frame, like basically every show in the 80s did. But it's not an actual freeze frame, just all the actors stand in place where one of the actors, say Leslie or the guy played Norberg or whatever, they will struggle to remain still and they'll cough or they'll blink or something. And they do that for the end of this film. But there's a character who is like sunbathing, and it's because of the angles and shit, you can't really see who she is. But Pamela Anderson walks up to her and basically just calls her like a cunt or something like that, and then walks away. I think that's who Priscilla is, but I'm not too sure. If that's the case, just I don't get how someone how you recognize her because you can't really see her. When you hear that they're rebooting the Naked Gun in the 2020s, you think even if it's not woke, the comedy is going to be so watered down, like they're just going to be too afraid to do anything edgy. Um, but no, that the film did have a bit of edge to it. Like there's a scene where Frank is talking to the bad guy, and the bad guy's talking about like how he owns like this club, and you can basically do whatever you want in the club. And he talks about how you can say the word retard, and Frank is like, I thought we weren't allowed to say the word retard anymore. And the guy says, "Oh, my club, you can say it." That was great. Um, like not a lot of it was edgy, but it still was. It's like it was really fucking funny. When I did my video on the trailer, something I said was that I don't like the violence of the film because the originals were cartoony with their violence. Like, just look at the very first scene from the first film where he's taking on, like, the Taliban or whoever. And like, it's cartoony. It's like fucking Tom and Jerry. And I thought, if you want to modernize the film, sure, but don't take out the things that made it the Naked Gun and the cartooniness of it. Sorry about that. I don't remember where it was. I think I was saying that I didn't like how violent the action was in the trailer, but now that I've actually seen the film, I think that they do both. They do violence and cartooniness, and I think they complement each other really fucking well. Like, yeah, the whole thing of him taking that the end of that popsicle and stabbing people to death with it, I don't like that. But the later stuff that happens in that same fight scene that they didn't show in the first trailer, they shown it in some of the other trailers that I didn't do videos for, but I did see those trailers. He eats one of the guns like it's a fucking cake. Um, he picks up a guy and uses him as like a shield, but they replace the guy with a dummy, and like it's obviously a dummy. Like I thought that was really funny. Um, the whole thing. There was a bit at the end where they play Fergalicious. Um, not only for like 30 seconds, I think it was, and it was a very short fight. But that was a great fight. But I'll be honest, the whole time that song was playing, all I could think of was the scene from Epic Movie where they did a parody of Willy Wonka and he like he takes Cal Penn's fucking nuts off. And Ben Man was thinking the same thing. So if you love the originals, you'll love this. They capture the same humor, but they modernize it with grace. Like it's not just let's make it 100% modern. Like what is modern? Like woke. It's not a woke film. Um, it's not like anti woke or anything, but it's just not woke. Um, but yeah, they modernize it, but they make sure not to modernize it too much, and that's what I mean by they modernize it with grace.